Welcome back to This Takes the Cake. Super excited and honored. We are actually in New York City filming this podcast, and I have Lauren Bowles, our Chicago office owner, and this is her first time actually.
Yes.
That we were able to connect and make it happen, and to have you come on the podcast.
Just in a different city.
That's right. I know, right? Who would ever thought? So I'm really excited to talk about and let everybody know how we met, obviously how the S&B happened, and then obviously talk more about you in Chicago and all the fun stuff there. So I guess we'll start with, how did we meet?
How did we meet?
So Lauren got married over 10 years ago now.
10 years ago last week.
I was only like 20 at that time, right? No, I'm kidding. And so Lauren actually, it was her and her mother-in-law and your mom approached S&B to help plan the wedding. And this is what I remember the first time. I remember you coming into the old office in Myrtle Beach, and it was you and Tanis and your mom, right?
I think so,
I think all three of you guys were there.
I think it was all three of us that one.
I don't remember Randy being there or Bill, or it was just all the girls.
The ladies.
And so obviously she hired us for the wedding, and she got married in South Carolina, where they vacationed to quite a bit. And so that's how we met. I mean, from your wedding.
I fell in love with South Carolina.
Right. So what do you remember about S&B from the planning aspect of it?
Well, from the planning aspect, you know, I went into it being like, I'm a planner. You know, I worked at a venue at the time. So I was like, I could do this. I could handle it. And my mother-in-law was like, no, you can't. And I was kind of stubborn about it at first. And she's like, no, we're getting, like, this is my gift to you. And it was the best gift ever because, I mean, just the logistics in my wedding day, and I'm sure Sarah probably.
It was. I mean, I don't think it was that bad, but you got married at a different location that was a good 20 minutes from the reception.
That was like down into gardens, you know. It wasn't like, I mean, there was, you know, it's a drive, and this is a out of state wedding, so I mean 75% of our guests were travelers, so
and probably never been there either,
right,
you know.
Right,
so.
And I would say a lot of them weren't just like, oh, there's the address, you park and you walk in the front door,
right?
You know, there's.
No, for sure. I remember my mom actually helped work that wedding.
I remember before I went down the aisle, I was like, are you Sarah's mom? Because I just saw the resemblance. Yeah. She goes.
And then a past bride, she helped me with a few weddings. She worked that wedding as well. And she was all about your bouquet. Because remember your bouquet had the little...
Yes, I used the sleeve from my grandmother's wedding dress that my mom wore. And then we put that around the base of the bouquet. It was,
Yeah, no, totally. So obviously that's how we met. And then I guess it was a little over 3 years ago that you became part of S&B. And I don't really remember how that conversation started.
I'll tell you.
Do you remember? Okay, cool.
Well, I was working my corporate job and, you know, on a Zoom call scrolling through Instagram, and Sarah had a post about franchising and joining. And I got off that Zoom call and said, I'm starting a business. Told my husband I'm starting a business. And he looked up from his computer because this is still kind of COVID time, so we're both working from home in separate areas. Right. He's like, oh, okay. And it moved pretty quickly. I think we set up a call the next week, and it just, and obviously we had a great relationship. We had stayed in contact over the years. So it wasn't like, you know, I knew.
Who are you?
Yeah, I knew it was a sound.
What's your background?
Yes, I knew all the things. So it was a very easy, I think, transition.
No, for sure. And I was excited to be in a big city, too. So,
yeah, because, you know, I love South Carolina. Obviously, that's where my wedding was. And that was one of the things, too, is like, let's bring that brand to Chicago.
Absolutely. So, I mean, obviously, now that you're over 3 years in, I mean, you're definitely well over... I don't know, 150 events somewhere.
I'd say about that now,
somewhere, give or take. So once we decided Chicago was a great location and everything, I came up to the city and we went venue scouting and hunting and checking out things. And I just remember going to all these venues, and it's so different there. And I definitely want to tell people, like, and obviously you can talk more about it, but how different weddings are in Chicago versus what we do in South Carolina, you know, in the South.
I mean, amount of, I've not done a tented wedding in Chicago.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Have I done tented events? Yes,
Of
but
course.
not in Chicago.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a whole nother beast.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, the one wedding you worked with me, it was, we were on Wacker Drive on, the 30th floor of a hotel. And then we were going to like an industrial space, like across the city for the reception. I feel like it gave you a good feel of kind of just the logistics of the city. And that's one of the biggest obstacles too, I would say, is.
Yeah, and I remember you told me we were there, Sarah, don't leave anything in the car. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, you don't leave bags in the car, or at least they're hidden.
Yeah, I never knew that. And there's nowhere to park.
Yes, parking is difficult. Imagine when you have a trolley or, those big transportation vehicles, it's very, very difficult on wedding day. So a lot of my day, I'm on the phone with the
transportation and the logisticals.
Yes.
So what would you say, like, are the different, like, trends that you see from, like, Chicago to South Carolina? Not necessarily trends, but, like, how we're different.
Yeah, I would say we have a more, we obviously both have the hotels, and there's a lot of, trends kind of, overlap, but I would say we have a more of an industrial vibe, I would say, in Chicago, which you can, of course, elevate with florals and make your own. But we have a lot of really unique spaces that have the exposed brick, the exposed beams, which I don't see as much in South Carolina. I mean, you get your weather,
mossy oaks, outdoor garden, plantation,
which is beautiful. Sure. Yeah, so it's nice to have that mix. And, our weather is so different as well. I feel like our weather's very unpredictable. So most couples tend to pick a space that's safer, where they don't have to go into wedding day being like, am I going to be outside?
Right. No, for sure. Because, I mean, all the variables, for sure.
All the things.
What would you say are some things to consider when planning, obviously, in the city like Chicago?
I would say really knowing, because you can see there's calendars of events. We have concerts, we have parades, we have festivals. And, so we have Lollapalooza every August. That really affects your event with transportation, availability of hotels for room blocks.
Right.
This weekend, and I'm always keeping an eye on that. And there was a riot that popped up and a parade that popped up that was not on anyone's radar. And the entire Wacker Street, we had our hotel on Wacker at the Renaissance Hotel. We had a wedding at the Renaissance Hotel on Wacker Drive, which is like, you need to be on Wacker to get anywhere. So the rabbi was minutes before the ceremony started, arrived. I mean, my assistant had to park her car for her on a side street so she can make it to the ceremony.
That's what I wrote on here, traffic.
Yeah.
That was definitely the biggest
traffic,
thing.
yes, factoring that in. And for photos, because everyone in Chicago, I feel like it has a Chicago wedding, wants to do skyline photos, wants to be on the river, and that really affects timing in the day.
No, I agree. So we're going to jump in. So the topic is trends and themes. So we're going to talk about what we love and what we wish would go away.
Okay.
So I want to get your thoughts.
Freely here?
Absolutely. Garden party.
I'm still into it. I'm loving the floral linens. I'm a little bored with like the greenery and blush. Like let's amp it up. Let's get some color.
Agree.
But yeah, no, I'm loving that.
I'm there with you on that. All pink.
All pink. We just recently did like all pink Barbie kind of vibe, and it was super cool. Mm-hmm. I like it. It's really popular right now.
And I think because Barbie's pretty popular as well.
But my bride actually went the pink route before Barbie.
Oh, so
you know what I mean? But her wedding.
She started the trend.
She started it.
I hear you. All right. What about neutrals versus a lot of color?
I appreciate both. I think it depends on the couple in this space. But I'm liking that people are trending more towards color. I mean, we've seen so much blush.
And I love when people aren't afraid of some color.
Yes.
But in the right way.
In the right, right.
I think we've talked on the podcast prior about this. I think Hannah from Atlanta talked about it. There was a wedding that every napkin was a different color, Yeah.
So there's ways it has to be done right.
Yes. Exactly. Okay, so disco balls versus chandeliers.
I'm a chandelier girl.
Yeah.
But the disco balls are super cool. But I feel like
we've fading out a little bit. Or not fading, but they're just overdone now,
yeah,
I feel like.
Yeah, it's not unique anymore.
For sure. Agree. All right, what about photo ops? I mean, what do you think guests really love?
I think guests love a photo booth, a cool backdrop, and I don't know, I'm over the Polaroid cameras. Please.
Hate them.
They're, we
always have to change the batteries out. They're not working.
One's not working, and then there's garbage on the table because there's the wrappers, and even, our team manages it, and we're watching, but it's inevitable that the table looks messy because there's a glue stick or tape. I was like, just, and the film's kind of expensive. Just splurge for the photo booth and get it done.
No, I agree. The mirror with a wedding date and name.
Well, 10 years ago, I had my wedding, and I thought I was super cool and had a mirror. Do you remember what kind of place cards I had?
Yep, I remember.
What were they?
The champagne glasses.
Yes, and it was a mirror.
Just had to put them all on there. How could I forget? I'm kidding.
Yeah, I think the mirror, you see it. I mean, it's pretty, and I do think mirror is timeless. Any elements of mirror is timeless, but we're seeing it all the time.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, let's talk cakes. I go back and forth about these because I swear every wedding I'm left with like the bottom layer or the top layer, all these things. So we'll talk single tier cakes first.
Go big or go home. I do not want some dinky ass cake and so I keep a cake pedestal in my car now because I'm so sorry. I'm not going to have this tiny little cake. It's cute, but like you need some elevation. You need something.
And who are these bakers telling you they don't need a cake stand? Right. Like, who are you? Like, no, we need a cake stand. Everything needs to be elevated.
Looks like shit. It needs elevation.
Agree. And I mean, just buy one. As cheap as they are to like rent, you can just buy one.
Yeah, and use it again.
What about white with wedding florals on it? Like a white wedding cake.
Like that. I'm doing an all white wedding next weekend where everything's all white.
Just classic.
Yeah, classic. I like it.
I like that. And I would say the vintage inspired cakes.
I'm seeing that. I think it's cute.
Yeah.
I think it's cute.
We just did the styled shoot in Savannah.
Yes, that was done really, really well.
Yeah, that was a really good cake maker. But you definitely, I've seen some that weren't done as well.
Right, where it kind of looks like you got it from Jewel Osco.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you guys have Jewel in?
No, but I know what we're talking about.
Maybe it's like your Publix?
It would be like Publix. Okay. Yeah, I was going to give the southern version of that. They were inspired. Large cakes. I know you just said big cake, go big or go home.
Or just don't do it at all. Then do a sweets table.
Yeah, and I mean, if you do a big cake, like it's a focal point.
Yes, it's gorgeous. I mean, I've been seeing these ones where the floral or like the cake looks like it's coming out of floral. I mean, that's what
there's some cool things.
Yeah. And
then to go cake box, is a yes or no?
I think so. I think people people are dancing, drinking. They work up appetite. Who doesn't want to have some cake?
And they're easy to pass out in the night. We recently just did one, and I mean, pretty much all the cake was gone. It had a little sticker and a little fork in it. It was super cute. I mean, they can either eat it on the way home or there, or with coffee in the morning, or so many different things.
Yeah, we have a baker now in Chicago that instead of doing the whole cake, the cake comes in little Chinese food boxes with like what you're saying with those food, and it has the flavor and all that. So the guests can just take that little Chinese food box with the cake in it and just eat it. So you're not, sitting down and, you're still partying.
Yeah. And that could even be a favor. And it's not really an additional thing. If there's leftover cake, they didn't have to, buy something else. So
I'd get rid of favors and then just have food be a favor.
So let's talk about that. So favors. I feel like you're either gung-ho or absolutely not.
No favors at a wedding.
No favors.
I mean, they're left on the table. I
go back and forth, and I don't really consider them a favor, like a koozie. Like, that's part of the... Yeah, it's on the bar, aren't big there, cute. But, like, in the South, I mean, that's just part of the bar. I don't consider that, like...
Great when guests can grab it, but, I wouldn't.
Exactly. All right, one thing I really hate is mints on the bar. Like, they'll do the custom mints.
Oh, we haven't done that.
We haven't done that?
No.
Well, maybe you like that. But I don't really consider... I mean, I guess that would kind of be a favor if you wanted it to be. But normally it's just...
I think it's just another layer of detail that I wouldn't consider that a favor. But
what about matches?
Nah, we're the perfect match.
We met, especially when they met on Match.com. Custom cups. I always keep one from every event. They're fun.
They're okay. I like more like.
Do you still have the Barbie cup?
Yes.
See?
I still have okay, fine. It depends on the event.
Right, yeah, I guess if you're not friends with did their wedding, you probably don't want one.
Right.
Yeah, agree. But most of the people coming to the wedding,
when they're gonna, that's gonna be something they think, and then they think about the couple again and that in the event.
Is there any favors that you just love?
Nope.
You're kind of an anti one. I love it. So we recently had this wedding. We'll give a shout out to Angie. And she had the coolest favor wall. So she, her dad had passed away, and she wanted to make the favors all about her dad. Not necessarily did the guests know that immediately. Mm-hmm. So it was a cute little bag, and in the bag, she had candy cigarettes that represented her dad, and then a bottle of Crown, and then she had these custom little candles made that went in it with a certain flavor, and it was like a nice little.
It just changed my mind on favors.
Like,
see something like that. That's
like
super intentional.
She spent like it wasn't the 50-cent matches,
but it meant something to her family, and she knew when people opened that. So something like that is super intentional. I feel like
and at the top of so we had a favor on the top. It said "P.S. I love you." And then all the favors were on it. So that definitely was like, I was like, oh, this is my favorite favor now.
Well, the presentation was there. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then the favor is going to get used and enjoyed. And
Absolutely.
There's that's partly too, I think, why I don't love favors sometimes is the presentation. Like
it was last minute, just ordered. I don't want
the tables looking messy. There's times where that can,
Yeah. Agree. No, for sure. So that's definitely one of my favorite favors for sure. What do you think? Could a late night item be a favor replacement?
Yeah,
for sure.
I think so. I think food. I'd rather have my couple spend money towards a really cool late night snack or experience, an ice cream truck. We have a taco truck. I'd rather have that than some bottle openers that are going to get left on the
right because people remember the experience. I always try to tell people that. So there was recently the same wedding. She's like the coolest couple ever. They are. Because she just did everything that we were like, let's do this. And so it was the easy cheesy grilled cheese truck comes in the night.
That's awesome.
And recently when she came back in to get her stuff after the wedding, we gave them their to-go food in the cute little SMB bag, and somehow while they were gone with their honeymoon, it was in the car the whole time.
Gosh, that happens.
So she was like, we had our grilled cheese and it wasn't
sitting in the car.
It was molded. But like having that, people remember walking out to the truck and
I love it. They're hungry
and getting that. Mm-hmm. And I agree on the experience. Like you said, ice cream or some type of experience.
We did Ben and Jerry's, a little Ben and Jerry's station, and it was really incredible flavors that are unique, and it had a Ben and Jerry's employee. They had a whole cart. This was on Saturday, and they were scooping, and it was guests loved it. It's
no, and people remember that versus if they got a koozie or a mint that they took home. You know what I mean? So,
yes,
I love it. All right, what about customized items? We're probably going to go a little bit back and forth because in the South we monogram and put everything on everything.
I agree with it though. I think the personalized touch goes a long way, even just on a napkin.
Right? Because I think it makes you, you don't want to overdo it.
No.
But it makes you, as a guest or as the planner, that we didn't overlook any detail.
Exactly. Especially when you're taking that font or that style, starting with the invitation, and then that translates into, all the other elements of the event. I think people pick up on that. And
I agree. People still talk about the Barbie party that we had pink toilet paper. So we thought about every little detail, So I would say definitely napkins, definitely, the menus, signage, all of that.
All of that.
To be cohesive. It makes a big difference when we've done weddings and people are like, oh, that's not important. I'm like, oh, but please.
Right. And some of these things too go like cocktail napkins. I keep using that, but that's something that's super economical.
Yeah. That for sure
goes a long way.
The wedding we recently did this past summer, she put a lot of effort and thought into this. It's a very customized thing. But she had a picture of everybody at the wedding, and it was a tree outside.
Oh, how wonderful.
And she had a picture of everybody and wrote them a note.
I love that.
So it was super cute.
Yes, and because that So that's great because we're doing that too, a personalized note to each guest at their place setting next weekend.
Oh, cool.
And it's not something that's printed with like, the same thing. It's a personalized note to each person. And I think that's really great because, of course the guest feels so special.
Right.
And then you're assigning their seat. There's so many, great ways to use that. But also I think I see my couples, they stress a lot about, am I going to make it to all the tables? Am I going to see all my guests? And I think that's a really good touch point with your guests. Because as you know, if you have a 300 person wedding, there may be, you may not be able to make it to every table.
Right.
Yeah. No, but that's like a really nice touch point.
No, I agree. I like that a lot. So another customized thing, have you had anybody do the newlywed newspaper before?
Yes, we recently did last month, and it was adorable. That's another way to customize things. They actually included me on it, which I thought was awesome. So
cute.
They're really into crosswords. So it was nice too because it was things that were true to the couple and their interests. Cool. So they love crosswords. So on the newspaper, on the back, there was a crossword puzzle, and one of the questions was, "What's our wedding planner's name?"
Oh, cute.
Yeah, it was cute.
Then they put at the bottom, "Call Lauren if you need anything."
Yeah, no, they should have.
I'm kidding. I think I'm gonna put that in a future thing. Have you ever had a client do that? Put that?
Yes. I've gotten some interesting phone calls.
So I always tell people, I'm like, if you're gonna do it, just put text.
Yes.
Because if they're calling, I don't know their name or who they are.
Right.
If it's spam or a potential client call, I don't want to answer. So let's talk about some more trends and themes we're talking. Let's talk about when you have your animals at your wedding.
That's an interesting element because I'm a dog lover. I have a dog, but it can add some stress to the day because, of course, these dog owners want their baby there. That's their child,
Right.
at this point in their life, and they want them part of this special day. And sometimes the, dogs can get a little scared in these, situations,
course,
or some are, really well behaved. But we have this awesome service where it's a dog nanny. And
I love it.
Yes, and it's incredible, and it makes it exactly what the couple has dreamt of. They always want the dog running down the aisle and perfect in photos, but then they can just be whisked away and go on with their wedding day.
Exactly.
And that allows just that. Because, the dog nanny will meet the dog beforehand. They'll have a play date. They'll get to know it's not like it's going to be a stranger.
Right,
so the whole process is seamless. The nanny will come in while the bride's in hair and makeup. They can see, their baby, and then the dog will be walked and then come back for photos. And then at the end of the night, or if you want them running down the aisle, then they're scooped up and, whisked away back home and fed and walked. And then there's photos, provided all day, making sure that they're safe and having fun.
I needed that a few weeks ago.
Did you?
Well, we recently had a wedding, and one of the girls, that was literally her job all day. And that's not necessarily our job. And the more I thought about it,
you're getting pulled away from
what if one of my girls got bit by the dog, or
Yep.
the dog where they're walking saw another dog and attack, then that comes back to us of just trying to be sweet and do a whole nother, service while we're there. So I definitely think we definitely need some type of service everywhere for that. Because people name their signature drinks after their dogs.
Oh, yeah, their dogs are on their napkins.
Napkins.
Drinks on me.
Exactly.
It's adorable. Yeah, so it's nice to have them there, but you need, because you're there to do a specific job, and it's probably taking you away from other things.
For sure, yeah. Because I was like, hey, I need you. And they were like, oh, I'm letting the dog out. I'm like, okay. What do you say? It's for the client.
Right, that's their child.
No, for sure. What about, custom backdrops? Meaning, could be for the ceremony. It could be for...
I'm loving it.
Same.
I'm loving it. Custom builds. I feel like it really adds a unique element. Back to the favors. You can use it for favors. You can use it for, a photo op. You can use these pieces throughout the event so that it's not just for ceremony, or, it can really be utilized. I'm all for it and love it. If you have a vendor that's creating it and, dropping it off and then picking it up.
Professional.
But we don't need Uncle Bob making a greenery wall that's in 15 pieces. And
he doesn't know that the wind blows at our outdoor weddings. You're inside a lot, so it's probably fine. But that happens all the time. Uncle Bob or somebody's going to build a cross, or we're going to build this backdrop. And they've never seen how things stand or blow, and then it falls over and hurts somebody, and then it's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah, and it's not DIY if you're not doing it yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. One of the cheesiest favors, the custom M&Ms.
Oh, yes.
I'm like, oh, we're eating the bride and the groom. Right? Isn't that weird?
Yes, I don't like it.
Oh, that was another one. The custom Oreos. Those were in that one I was just telling you about. But it just had their name or their date on it, but it was cute though.
I love Oreos.
Yeah.
So I think I would I know I said I don't like favors. Okay. But I do like when something like a place card or something like that will then be used. It could also be a favor.
Yeah.
For example, we did a wedding where the place card was a frame, but inside the frame was a character of that
guest. That's super cool.
And it was, we submitted photos of every single guest, and we had an artist create a really cute character, and it had their table number, and it was really small to the table number. So that frame was brought home, and I would put that in my home.
Yeah, you would keep that because it's of you. I mean, not that
Who
we
doesn't
don't
want a picture of themselves.
I mean, not that we don't love Lauren and Randy's wedding, but I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, no, that is super cool. No,
It'd be cool to see your face on the table when you're walking in.
Yeah, I love that. No, for sure. Any personalized things like that really take the extra step a mile because that's not easy to do. No. I mean, that takes time. You get photos of everybody, all that good stuff. No, I definitely think that's a really nice touch.
Yeah, so, the garden party is is a big, that's big with showers, weddings now. Mm-hmm. There's great ways to elevate your photos so you're just not doing that traditional stand with all your bridesmaids. Here's our bouquets.
Right, yeah.
Speaking of that, do you see the photos now where the bridesmaids are holding their bouquets in a circle and the bride's putting her head in the center? I hate it.
Like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's coming back.
I thought she was about to say.
It's coming back.
I thought she was about to say you like this. Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about trends, I mean, I guess trends could be photos too. Heck, no.
Yeah. So, when we did a garden party, a garden-themed wedding, and they had parasols for the bridesmaids, and it was adorable. It gives them something to hold, do something cute. You get a little bored with the traditional.
Right. No, I agree. Let's talk about trends for other than bouquets.
Okay.
And I've never done this, but I've always wanted to do it. The little puppies. All the bridesmaids carry a little puppy.
Please, can I have a client that will do that?
I think that would be so dang cute.
And tell me what they're doing with these puppies. So they're going to hold them as they walk down the aisle?
Yeah, they hold them.
Okay. And then all throughout the ceremony,
I guess they're not barking or anything. I guess they're so young they can't bark yet.
They're just sleeping.
They hadn't found their voice yet.
Okay. Well, you really need a dog nanny then.
You definitely need the dog nanny. Multiples. I've seen it. I thought it was the cutest thing ever.
Tell me how that works out for you.
Okay, perfect. And you get to take them all home.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. So other trends, which I'm a big fan of, is changing out of dresses and into new outfits.
Yes, I love it because you have the whole day in your gown, and I understand that's the one day you're going to wear it. But late night, it's so fun to see an outfit change of shoes. I'm even seeing glam teams stay on site for almost 10 hours with the bride. So we've seen brides cut their hair and come out later with a different haircut or a completely different hairstyle. I'm all for it. I love it. And they do a sexy little shoot. They'll usually pop outside in the city. They'll do high flash photos.
And they're not always a dress. I've had rompers. I've had all different kinds of.
I had last weekend, she was in purple sequin fringe. She kind of looked like Taylor Swift.
Fun.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of a trend. Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we just did a party. It's been a little bit, but a few months ago for a Taylor Swift. And it wasn't a birthday party. It was literally the Eras, just to have a party. Taylor, to be a Swiftie.
Yeah.
They tried to get me to be a Swiftie. Trying.
Yeah, I'm on the fence.
Wasn't Scarlett Taylor for Halloween?
She was, and my husband was, what's his name? That's how little I care about Taylor Swift.
Yeah, we're not Swifties.
We're not,
what's his name?
Travis Kelce.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yes. My husband grew the mustache. My daughter got the bangs. She's a Swiftie.
I love it. That's cool. I mean, I've even seen, being a Swiftie now and all, people who are incorporated into their wedding. And have you seen that?
Oh, all over. Anywhere from a special song in the ceremonies, special dances. I'm seeing, lyrics from her songs on cocktail napkins, on seating charts. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
She's everywhere.
I was a Spice Girl fan.
Me too. I was Posh.
Were you?
Yeah. Who was your favorite?
I don't know. Really?
How were you a fan?
I mean, no, I was. There wasn't one that I was or
well, like who you who you wanted to be.
None of them.
Yeah, you never want to be anyone but yourself. That's a good thing.
To be Ginger or whatever.
Really?
I'm kidding.
I wanted to be Posh.
So, I mean, there's so many different trends and themes and things like that. And I don't know if you guys have this in the city, but the petal cannon, where they, it's a cannon that shoots the rose petals.
Oh, I've seen it. We don't do that very often.
And I guess there's a lot of outdoor events.
Yep.
To do. And that's
venues don't allow it.
Definitely a super cool trend, but it's honestly just an easy way for a photographer to get a perfect shot. Versus us on the sides, like,
right, trying to get enough handfuls to throw.
And it's like a fun little entrance, either after the ceremony or into the reception. So definitely say that one's a super trendy thing right now. With this being your first time on the podcast, what is something you would say that this takes the cake that's happened recently?
I feel like every wedding there's something that you haven't, accounted for, but couple weekends ago, I haven't had a bride get, early in the day, get any type of stain on her dress. And this is before ceremony. We're setting up and I go in to line everybody up. It's about 15 minutes before ceremony time. And the bride has a stain on her hip where it is very visible. It is the size of 2 quarters put together.
Oh, wow.
Very, very dark lipstick. And I can keep my composure. Like, I really can have a straight face, but I don't know what my face looked like when I walked into that room. Of course, we went into action. We have, an emergency kit with Tide pens and shout wipes. But me and my assistant are working diligently because there was 3 layers to this dress. There was, like, a lace and then a tulle and then the, like, satin underneath.
So did she drop lipstick on it?
So we still never have figured out. Everyone was kind of like, how did this happen? How did this happen? Whose thing. Was it? Yeah, it was literally looked down and it was this huge dark ring. So we're 15 minutes to ceremony time. I do not start late. Okay, we're at the Field. We're at the Field Museum. So this is a museum. This is not, a wedding venue. It could be created into a wedding venue. So right. So I mean, it's a huge space. So we have 15 minutes to ceremony time, which ceremony is on the other side of the museum. I start running upstairs, going through all the offices of the Field Museum, like going through people's desk drawers. I'm searching. I'm like, I need to find whiteout because shout out wasn't working. Okay, I'm old school. I'm old. So when I think of whiteout, I think of the liquid painting whiteout.
Yeah, that's what whiteout is. Yeah.
Yep. People don't use that.
They use
that tape thing. So I'm going through, literally I'm tearing the offices apart. I'm pulling open drawers, and I'm only finding the tape, and that's not going to work. That's going to roll right off the fabric. So I'm going through people's desks, and I find the liquid whiteout.
Must have been an older lady working in there.
Yes, exactly. So I grab it. I start running. Now I'm on the other side of the museum, running through the offices. I get to the other side. We have 10 minutes to start. I open up the liquid whiteout. And
so her dress obviously was like white.
Yes, It was white. So it was, yes. And I said whiteout. And I was waiting for the bride's response because I was never going to do something that she wasn't comfortable with to put on her dress. And she's like, yes. She gave me the go. So I opened up the liquid whiteout, so excited to start painting, and it's dried out. Okay, I'm like, oh my God, we're 9 minutes to start. So and it's like a chillier day outside, so we don't want guests sitting out there too long, and of course we just want to start on time. So I take the white out, run to the bathroom, fill it with water, start shaking it up, get as much liquid out as I can. We cover the spot perfectly. While I'm covering that spot, my assistant is still doing the shout out on the other layer. It is gone. I mean, at least covered gone. You cannot see it at all.
You can't see a big lipstick. Yeah.
Exactly. We line everyone up and we start exactly on time.
I love it. That's awesome. That definitely takes the cake. Yeah. That's a good one. I'm going to put some white out, the liquid white out in my emergency kit.
You would think I would already have done that.
Well, also sometimes when the guys with their white collared shirt, with the makeup or
girls
whatever,
hugging and
lipstick. Yeah, no, that's definitely a good one. So awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Tell everybody how they can get in contact with you directly.
Yes, so you can contact me at Lauren at stunningandbrilliantevents.com. And my cell phone is 708-469-9202. I love to party.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Lauren. We appreciate it.
Thank you.